All right, it's time for us now to explore some different ways for you to create presentations here in PowerPoint 2008 on the Mac. There are three scenarios that we're going to look at. One would be you need to get out a presentation quickly and it needs to look good. Another option is you've got a little more time and you want to be able to customize your presentation, make it look and feel the way you need. And yet another option is to begin from scratch but with a theme already applied. We're going to look at those three scenarios in this lesson. So if you've got anything open right now in PowerPoint, go ahead and close that up by going up to the top left corner and clicking the close button. We're going to start right from scratch here. Now in the previous lesson we saw that when we launch PowerPoint, we're presented with the project gallery. That's an option we can change if we want to, but from the project gallery we could create a blank presentation or create a nice looking presentation using one of the themes, and we also had templates to choose from. So let's look at those scenarios by going up to the File menu, and we'll go to this first option, which is New Presentation. You'll see Command N here. In this scenario, you've got lots of time. You're going to start with a new blank presentation. You'll be responsible for adding all of your content, adding all of your slides, and making them look good. So formatting those slides. That means formatting their layout, formatting the theme and the color schemes and backgrounds and so on. So let's give this a try. We'll click New Presentation, and there we have our new blank presentation. One slide, it's blank, it's a title slide. So we could start coming in here to manipulate our content where it says click to add title. I could type in a title like welcome. And then down below it says click to add subtitle. I can do that if I want to add some additional information. There's a little bit of formatting done here for me in that the font and the font size are selected for me. I can adjust that. You can see the size here is 32 points according to my formatting palette, whereas in my title slide here the font size is 44. If you don't want a subtitle, no problem. You can click on the border. It becomes selected and hit delete on the keyboard. That removes any sections you don't want on a slide. So there we have our first slide in our very first presentation. Pretty plain looking, so we've got a lot of work to do. Now another scenario might be we need to get a presentation out now and it needs to look good. So in that case you might want to access some of the templates in the project gallery. To do that we go up to the File menu and select Project Gallery right here at the top. You notice that there is a shortcut. So Shift Command P will launch the project gallery at any time. And this is where we go to create a new presentation. Because we're in PowerPoint, we want to narrow down our options here that we see on the right hand side to just show our PowerPoint options. Right now blank documents is selected in the category column, and on the right hand side PowerPoint presentation is selected. But the project gallery is shared amongst all the applications in the Office suite. So we see options here for creating Microsoft Excel files. We've got calendars and Entourage and mail messages, Word documents, and you can see I've got some other Word document options down below as well. So if I just want to focus in on PowerPoint, because that's what I'm working with, I can change my Show drop down over here to just show me the PowerPoint document options. And in this case, under blank documents, there's just one, a blank PowerPoint presentation. Selecting this and clicking the Open button is going to give me exactly what I did a moment ago, which was to create this new blank presentation. So we don't want to go there. Let's explore that scenario where we need to get a nice looking presentation out quickly. Now as I move down through the categories, you'll see My Templates and My Themes. We're going to skip over those right now because we haven't created our own templates and we have not created our own themes. We'll do that later. If I go down to Brochures, you'll see there are no options here as far as PowerPoint documents go. Typically you wouldn't use PowerPoint to create brochures, nor would you use PowerPoint to create calendars and CD labels. So clicking these shows you nothing over here on the right hand side. But if we go down to presentations, that's a different story. Over here now we've got 6 templates and you can see thumbnail representations of what they're going to look like. Using templates creates multiple slides for you, so you've got a great big head start. You just have to go in there and change the content if you want to get something done quickly. And you'll notice that we also have Office themes here. Clicking Office themes allows us to create a new blank presentation but with the theme already applied. So as we start adding new slides to our presentation, they take on the theme that we've selected here. But let's go to presentations. We want a nice little head start here. We need to get this presentation out quickly and it needs to look good. We're going to go to Pitch Book here. Notice that we also have an option for widescreen presentations if you're doing that. But I'm going to select Pitch Book and click Open. And look what happens down the left hand side here. I've got multiple slides. And as I scroll down using my scroll bar here, You're going to see there's 6 slides created for me, and they all have sample content, which is kind of cool. This first slide, which is selected, is our title slide, and you can see using this theme, the color combinations and so on are in there for me. Where it says pitch book, I can just click in there and change that to something else, like ECP Quarterly Review. It's all caps by default. That's part of the formatting. Of course, I can change any of this formatting and color schemes and so on. We'll get into that later on. Where it says click to add author information, I could type in my own name here. And I've got my first slide, and it looks good. Now moving on to the next slide in the pitch book, you can see that we get information about the template. So not only do I have placeholders where text can go, but that text that's already there that I'm going to replace is information teaching me how to use this template. So up here where it says about the template, I would actually click in there and type something else. So I would highlight this text and I might say overview, for example, of each quarter. And then down below I would type in information giving an overview of each of the quarters in the previous year. Down below you can see customizing the logo. There's information here about customizing logos, but of course I would replace that. Same things for sections of slides, and we even get tips down below if you want to use the elements gallery, for example. So you can see how using a template from the project gallery is a huge head start. Now if there are any slides that you feel you don't need, no problem, you can take those out. We're going to talk about adding and removing slides a little later on in this chapter. But you do get 6 to start with, and you can use any of those slides. You can choose not to use any of those slides by removing them. Of course, you can add more slides. So I like this scenario. Quite often I've been asked to create a presentation quickly, make it look good, and by using one of the project gallery templates, I get that huge head start. Now another option is to create a new blank presentation like we did before this one, but with our theme already attached. So if we go up to File and we go down to Project Gallery, we're not going to select one of the templates from the presentation section here or category. We're going to go up one to Office Themes. So in here we can choose a theme. Now we can apply themes to a presentation at any point. We could have 20 slides already created and decide we want to add a theme or even change the theme. We can do that. And there's different ways to add or manipulate themes in PowerPoint. But if you're creating a new presentation, you can select your theme ahead of time just by going to Themes in the category column here, finding one that you like. And I'm going to come down to this one right here called Perspective. And I'm going to click Open. This creates a brand new presentation, but I've got one blank title slide. All of the formatting and stuff in the background is done for me, but I come in here to click to add the title. Let's say it's going to be the word welcome again. If I don't want a subtitle, no problem. I can delete that, but if I want to put something in, I'm going to type in ECP Quarterly Review. And I'll deselect just by clicking outside that selected box. There's my first slide. So that looks a lot nicer than that new blank presentation we created a moment ago because I've already got the theme applied to my presentation before I start creating slides. Now if I want to add some new slides, they're all going to have the selected theme applied to them as I add them. So we'll get into working with themes and slide layouts and so on as we move through the various lessons in this chapter, but those are 3 scenarios for creating a new presentation in PowerPoint. So in the next lesson, we'll talk about adding and removing slides in your presentation.